This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? Is your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the shoot around presented by SeatGeek. Use the code NBK to get $20 off of your first purchase with SeatGeek, ladies and gentlemen. So all of your New York Knicks tickets, if you're not getting them through NBK in a group package, you might as well go to SeatGeek, use the code NBK, save yourself a couple of dollars. The link is in the description of this video. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're on the shoot around. And what we're doing here this morning, this afternoon actually, is, we're going back. We're looking at the game. Andy's actually reviewing the game for the first time. You know what I mean? And, we're just kind of rehashing last night, recapping last night, and looking at it from a different lens. You know what I mean? So, Steph, now that you had a chance to sleep on it, what are your thoughts about last night's game?
Actually, I'm feeling slightly better. Shout out to you, Sim, Andy, the chat. I rewatched the game and I was able to see how many shots we were missing, and that had we made some of those shots, it would have been a different game. We gave up a lot of threes, yes. Our starters' defensive rotations weren't there, yes. But Fournier was 1 for 5. Kemba was 1 for 7. A few other players also missed a lot of shots. I did see ball movement. I saw Randall kind of spraying the ball around, just, setting the players up for good shots. And we just missed. And this is a make or miss league, regardless of your defense. If you don't make shots, it's going to be hard to win.
Yeah. That's without a doubt. Fournier had a lot of good open looks and just knocked him down last night. And I think if he was hitting, I think the game looks a little bit different. Andy, I know you just watched the game. What were your thoughts on last night's game?
Yeah, what up, Sim? What up, Steph? What up to the chat? Listen, I lost focus around the third quarter because I was thinking that the game is over. So I was really happy that we had that in our second lineup, in the bench line, and on the bench players, that they could really, erase that difference on the court, get us back into the game. No, it was too hard for them to, to go ahead and finish out the game. But those shots from Connaughton and Allen. Listen, you would never expect those guys to be like 5 threes a game, 7 threes a game from Connaughton. It was crazy, Sim, and I realized that the game plan has to switch up if they make a couple of threes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think still the second unit, and they were basically playing the whole fourth quarter. So I realized that they might have been a little bit tired. The air went out of them after the turnaround call, the challenge that Giannis had on Obi. That was also I think a momentum switching thing in the game. It was like the energy ran out of him, and the worst thing is that they made a hoop just right after that. If they didn't get that basket, it's still, we might have been on that wave. But if they made it, it was like you just saw in the players' hearts. It was like that dagger that just twisted, in their hearts. So
that was a pivotal play, man.
That was a pivotal play. Exactly.
98 to 94. Obi catches. I think it was off of a screen roll. He goes up. It looks like Giannis hits his off arm. Right. falls to the floor. They ask for a review, and it's overturned. And then Milwaukee comes back down the other way and scores the basketball. And yeah, I think that kind of deflated the Garden.
Yeah.
It deflated the Knicks. And from there, they were just lights out, knocking out threes every time down the floor. And it's like Steph always says, we need timely shots and timely stops. We got timely shots last night, but we just couldn't get those timely stops. Every time I turned around, every time Connaughton or Allen touched the basketball, I dropped my head into my hands because I could feel it was going in. They were just scorching hot. It was crazy. 26 threes from the Milwaukee Bucks last night. 26 threes. It's hard to beat a team when you let them shoot 52% from the 3-point line. And there's 26. They're 26 from 50. It's hard to beat a team when you let them shoot at such a high percentage. But the Knicks are 7-5 on the season last year. They were 5-7. We're gonna take a little bit of a dive into that. Those two records last year. Look at some offensive and defensive stuff, and just do a little bit of a comparison between the two teams from last year to this year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell Isaiah in the background, stop posting in the private chat. I can see you there. I'll get to you when I get to you. Okay? Stay calm, because every time you post, it comes up on the screen and everyone can see it. So now everybody knows that you're begging to get into the chat. How's that look on you, man? How does that look on you that you're begging to get into the chat? Let me let this guy in, ladies and gentlemen, before, he loses his top. Doesn't know what to do with himself. Let me get him in here. There. You're in the building now. Are you happy now?
I feel better. I'm not gonna lie. I feel better.
I mean, did you feel like you were being
first of all, I don't.
Was your feelings hurt? Like,
first of all, I don't. First of all, Mr. Simeon Russell, I don't beg.
You were. Everybody could see. Everybody watching could see it come up on the screen and say, yo, 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 yo. I'm in the chat. Can't. Can you let me in?
I don't. That wasn't me who did that.
Everyone can see you groveling on the floor.
Whoa. First of all, I got on white pants, baby. We don't grovel. No, what's going on, Andy? What's going on, Steph? Shout out to the chat and everything.
I say,
yeah. I mean, before you go, man, Sam, I just wanted to say, it's been a theme to me since last year of just the open threes and just, I know we're going to talk about it. We're going to dive into like the starters and everything. But last night was so far the theme of the season, a roller coaster season where, we just beat ourselves and letting these. So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm tired of seeing the no-name guys keep going off on us.
Yeah. I mean, I have the same type of feelings, right? Because of what I'm watching on the floor. But because I was going to say. Wait a minute. I have the same type of feelings because of what I'm watching on the floor. But when you start to break down the numbers,
well, that's what I was going to go to. I mean,
different when you start to really dig into the numbers and compare last year, the first 12 games last year, to the first 12 games of this season. Things look different. I mean, obviously the record is different. Right, the Knicks were 5-7. They're 7-5 now. Not that much different, but different. I'd rather be 7-5 than 5-7.
That's true,
right? And their net rating is different. We're going to take a look at all of that.
And so I was going to say I do agree with you because I mean at the end of the day, right? Typically, you want these guys to take the shots. Again, I mean I don't think you can play any better defense than you played last night on Giannis. Again, this man is a 2-time MVP, 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, just won a championship, and he had 15 points. But also, I mean, you just can't play any better than that. You really can't. But also, just again, there's a recurring theme so far this season that you got guys that look like Andy giving you 62 points in like 3 quarters. So it's like, it's a tough situation right now.
Right. And when they're, sorry, Sam.
I was going to say, I think a lot of teams take the same strategy when they're playing a team like the Bucks. You know, let's see if these guys can beat us. If they beat us, we'll tip our hats to them. But we're not going to let Giannis go for 40.
Right.
Well, so every time we stop letting Giannis, Gary, I don't know what it is. I don't know. It worked. It was great. It was Grayson Allen promised to be a Knick, like, or we didn't call him back because Lord have mercy.
I mean, hey, he's
this
a
kid,
tough player, man. He's a tough
this
player.
this kid is playing like Prime Jordan right now against us.
Right.
Yeah, he's a tough player.
And I think too, when Giannis drived, I mean, I know we wanted to build a ball, but like everybody, not even Giannis, everybody, would rotate to the ball, leaving the 3-point line. I could see one other person too, but you see 4 people around the ball.
Steph, it was horrible last night. I mean, like there was one play where he drove and literally, if he wanted to, he could have passed out to like 3 open shooters. it was that bad last night.
Yeah. I mean that's the defense that they chose to play on the Bucks last night. Nonetheless, the Knicks lost last night 112-100. And, most people are not happy about it. I do think when you go back and you look at the game again, you can start to take some things from it when you dissect it. One, they were able to control Giannis a little bit on the offensive side from scoring, although he did have 15 points and 8 assists, because he's spraying it out to shooters
who were making it.
But if we were making our shots and we had wide open looks, we did. We had wide open looks in that starting unit. Evan Fournier had a lot of looks. Kemba Walker had a lot of good looks. Neither one of those guys were hitting their shots. If they hit their shots, this game could look very different. I don't think the Knicks get down 24 points. Right? I think the scary thing for most people is that last year you had a defense to rely on. This year you don't. And we're definitely going to see that when we look at the numbers, that the defense is very different. Actually, I'm sorry. It's different, but not as different as I think we expect it to be right now. I think defenses across the board maybe got better. And it's making ours seem a little bit worse. And teams are getting more attempts at the basket, especially from the 3-point line, than they were last year. And teams are shooting at a higher percentage from the 3-point line against us this year than they were last year. So those are a couple things with the defense that's really different than last year. But when you look at the overall numbers, it's not that different. It's not as much as I think we might expect it to be when we take a look at it. And I know, you probably don't want to get into too much celebrating about last night's game, but I'm going to do it anyway. Before we start getting into these numbers, I do it anyway. My player of the game last night was Derrick Rose. I want to come around to everybody and see if you had the same player of the game. All right, Derrick Rose last night, 22 points, 7 assists, 3 steals. He was 53.3% from the field, and he was 75% from the 3-point line. Derrick Rose is playing really, really good basketball for us, ladies and gentlemen. Really good basketball for us. Steph, same player of the game?
Yeah, it would be the same play of the game. And if I had a second choice, it would be the entire second unit. They were just on point last night.
Yeah.
And Rose has been solid all season, really.
All season long, Rose has been solid. Andy?
Yeah, I don't think there's, any other choice, to be fair with you. I think D-Rose only had like one game that was, not a typical game for him. But I still think, D-Rose might be, still gunning for that 6th Man of the Year award. Playing like this. If we could get our record, even better and make the playoffs, I think it's going to be, he's going to be, again, one of the top 3 in that category.
Yeah, he's going to be battling with Melo for that 6th Man of the Year award because Melo's balling out there in L.A. Melo was hooping. Nobody wanted him to come back to New York.
Oh, here we go.
But Melo was hooping out there. That's all I'm going to say. What'd you say, Steph? You said you did?
I did.
Yeah, see,
I
Isaiah
thought,
didn't. but
I thought.
Hey,
yeah.
no, hey, listen. Listen.
you didn't, Isaiah.
See, here's the difference, right? Here's the difference between me and everybody. I can admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about Melo. I can admit it. He's acting like he's back in New York.
I'm glad you can admit it. I'm glad you can admit it.
No, Sim, I'm not even gonna go there with you.
I'm glad you can admit it because I wanted him back. I did. I wanted him to come back. I know Leon Rose did. You know, I wanted him back. But anyway, player of the game last night, Isaiah. Did you have a player of the game?
It has to go to the whole second unit. I mean, I think for most of the season we could all kind of agree that Tibbs hasn't been playing them as much. Like, I mean, besides D Rose, and rightfully so with Quickly, but Obi to me this season has deserved more minutes. These guys all showed up yesterday. They literally kept us in the game, and I got to give credit to Tibbs. I killed him most of the season so far with him not relying on the second unit, not trusting those guys. But I think tonight was a big step for him going forward as coaching wise too. So the game ball definitely goes to the second unit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Tibbs has always been the guy that's going to play who's hot. You're going to make some mistakes as far as rotations are concerned, but when it's clearly obvious that the second unit was playing that much better, I had no choice but to keep him out there. Savvy, what's going on with you, man? Did you ever play the game last night?
What's cracking?
How
y'all doing? Channel?
What you get the corals to turn gangster on us? Okay.
You play too much. Pardon the cough. I'm homesick with the flu. But
Feel better.
my player of the game, my logical decision is D Rose, but my emotional choice is definitely Obi Toppin, because I was watching that boy out there. He was making me proud, dog. Boy, I was watching and I came away with the feeling like we might have another MIP on the roster this year. Okay. So be on the lookout for Obi this year. Most improved player? I think so.
Well, we'll see. He's got to get the minutes to get that MIP. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's going to get that many minutes.
Glad you said the word minutes.
Sometimes he's getting them, sometimes he's not.
I'm really glad you mentioned minutes. I'll let you rock, but let's come back to minutes later on.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. I see a couple things in the chat. Some people, I see someone say Taj Gibson was his player of the game because, Taj did a lot of the dirty work last night to help keep the Knicks in the game. I do agree with that. Who was it that said that? I'm trying to find out who it was. Jack City said Taj Gibson is my player of the game. Right, because he did all the dirty work. And Taj Gibson, he always does all the dirty work. He can probably be player of the game every game because he's going to do all the little things that most people don't want to do. My play of the game last night, I actually have two plays of the game last night. The first one is Emmanuel quickly to Obi Toppin for the alley-oop in the third quarter. It was in the middle of that 27-8 run, I think it was, that the Knicks went on, or 28-7 run, actually. Yeah, it was a 28-7 run that the Knicks were on. And, this play brought down the house. It brought down the house. And the Knicks are finding ways to get Obi more involved, to use his athleticism. That's something that I don't know if Tom Thibodeau understood how to do last year, or maybe just didn't know enough about Obi, or whatever it was, but he's finding ways to use his athleticism to impact the basketball game. We didn't see enough alley-oops to Obi last year. This year we're seeing them. And then my next one was Emmanuel quickly once again when he knocked down the three to tie the game at 89 to cap off that 28-7 run. Knocked down the three. I think that was Ojale who was defending him. And at that point, it's 5 minutes and 9 seconds left in the game, man, and it felt like the Knicks really had a chance to win it. The game was tied. Obviously from there, the Knicks couldn't muster up enough stops to get the win. But, that was a big shot by IQ. And Emmanuel quickly starting to come around a little bit.
Hey, Sam, you know what?
Starting to come around a little bit.
So you know what I think sometimes we got to stop doing too? And I know, and it's hard for us not to do it, but sometimes you got to give certain players time to breathe. Because it's always the beginning of the season. You got to get into game shape, and you have to, because again, right? Was IQ playing bad previously? Yeah, it was bad shooting wise. I'll say shooting guards is bad, but sometimes these players do take time to, warm up. Like, there's players that will come out starting hot for the, beginning of the season, then cool off, like a AKA Tim Hardaway a couple years back. Then you got players that like RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is a clear example of taking time in the beginning of the season to get warmed up, and then he'll give you like 20 games of great basketball. So sometimes we gotta not kill players so much in the beginning of the season when it takes time to warm up for the season.
Well, let me ask you a question.
With RJ is that RJ is always going to give you something that he did well every single game, like tangibly or intangibly to offset whatever he didn't do well that game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Isaiah. Are you going to take your own advice? Because you are one of the main culprits.
First of all, I'm always hot. I stay hot. I stay ready.
Right.
I'm like a pizza. A pizza man. Come on now.
Okay. All right. Little Caesars.
Little
No,
yeah, he's doing so.
Any other plays out there that you thought? I mean, obviously we know the pivotal play of the game was that foul or the reversed foul call on Obi Toppin. I thought that Giannis hit his outside arm and it should have been called a foul. I know Clyde on the telecast, he said, well, he hit his outside arm. It doesn't really affect, he had the ball in his other hand. I don't think that really matters when you get fouled. If you get fouled, you get fouled. It doesn't matter what part of the body they hit you. If you get fouled, you get fouled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought that was a change of play. I think one of my favorite plays, even though it kind of involves what Steph said earlier, was when Giannis got into the paint and Taj Gibson played great defense. Like, he played great defense, even though, again, that play is good. And it was a double-edged sword because it was good because Taj played great defense, but it was bad because literally all 5 players on the Knicks was in the paint. And Giannis could have just passed it out. But I thought that was a good play for Taj. Sometimes, man, it sucks that Taj is 37 or 30.
Yeah, however old he is,
If he was 27, Sim, woo.
Yeah, if he was 27, he wouldn't be signed for veterans minimum or whatever it is. You know what I mean? He'd be
Taj would probably, if he was 27, he'll probably get like 15 million.
Yeah, he probably will. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Player of the game. My player of the game was Derrick Rose, and yeah, the bench. I think they deserve to be player of the game as well, or bench of the game. They went to work last night, and my plays of the game both involved Emmanuel Quickly. Steph, how do you feel about what you're seeing from Emmanuel Quickly right now?
I liked it. His shot is falling. I thought his defense was there. I think we were really focused on him not hitting shots, that we didn't pay a lot of attention to his defense. But I saw in Summer League that his defense had improved. I think his decision-making is getting a little better. He'll still take a questionable shot here and there, but I think his decision-making is better already. His ball handling is better. And he's looking for other people, not just jacking it up each time down the court. So I like what I'm seeing from him, actually.
Yeah. Andy, I know you're a tough one to crack with IQ. I know you're a tough one to crack, but what do you like anything that you're seeing from IQ right now in the last couple of games?
Listen, yes, and like you said, I was hoping you're gonna skip me on this one. But listen, I can't front. He's developed. Probably still has way more, room and gameplay to develop. But no, he's better. I'm not gonna lie, he's better. First thing that I love the most is that he's limiting those crazy shots that he was taking before. He still sometimes pulls up from whoever knows where and why he does it. Because he's not, he doesn't have the tangibles, to call him a Steph Curry guy that he's going to put like a 2 feet after the logo. But, listen, if that's going to, pick up, the shot selection is going to be better. And he's going to be, passing the ball a little bit better as he did. And the defense improved from last year. I like what I see. But I'm still, not going to call him my favorite player.
I'm not gonna lie to you though, Andy. There are certain times when I'm sitting there and I'm like, go ahead, take it, IQ, take it. You know, and he might be deep. And I see, the players backed off, his defenders backed off of him. And I'm like, go ahead, just launch it. Just take it. Because, sometimes I feel like we need that little bit of a spark, if he hits it. Right. And I do have faith that he's going to knock it down when he pulls it from deep. Now, I don't always like those shots, but sometimes I'm like, take it now, pull it. But he played well last night, and hopefully he's coming around and he'll be ready to, take control of that second unit in the event that Tom Thibodeau decides he's had enough of seeing Kemba out there. You know what I mean?
Hey, Sam, can I ask you a question, man?
Yeah.
Why is Kemba trying to be Elfrid Payton so bad? Just why?
You know what? Let's not even go there, because if anyone, you of all people, now see the value that Elfrid brought to the team last year.
Oh no.
Yes.
No.
And I think a lot of Knicks fans are seeing the value that he brought to the team last year.
No. Reggie,
a lot of Knicks fans are seeing the value that he brought to the team last year.
Okay, hold on, Sam. Okay. I need to go back to last season and see what point guard he slowed down. I need to see it. Because I don't remember any point guard slowing down.
Well, tell me which ones that Kemba slowed down.
Simba, no, there's a difference, because we knew that. We knew Kemba wasn't
right,
going to.
And you expected him to score more than 12 points a game, too. And 3 rebounds and 3 assists. That's basically what Elfrid Payton gave you last year.
No, Elfrid Payton. No. Elfrid Payton didn't give us 12 points.
Elfrid Payton also played better in the zone defense as well.
Elfrid Payton averaged 10 points a game last year.
Yeah, don't try to add that too. You do that a lot. So you always try to add action to make the player sound good.
But better defense.
It was decent.
Way better.
In the second half, if he played much better in the first half, and at some point in the season, Elf just fell off a cliff.
He did. At the end of the season, he just fell off. He was nowhere to be found. I think he knew he was on the way out, and he just didn't want to play no more. He was nowhere to be found. It was like, what is going on with this dude? He was, fell off a cliff. He fell off a cliff.
He hit the wall.
And he fell off a cliff with no parachute. No parachute.
And you know what? It's about who we are together. And sometimes you could just you could say this player is better than player A is better than player B, but that doesn't mean that player B is going to work better with the rest of the team. And that may be what we're seeing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And, as we start to look at these numbers, and I'm about to get into them now before I take some phone calls, I think we're going to be maybe a little bit surprised at the defense from last year and the defense from this year when we look at these numbers. So I'll go ahead and pull them up on the screen now. Right? These are the defensive stats from last year. 2020, 2021, games 5 through 7. All right. So in order to keep it, try to keep it kind of making sense, I only did 12 games. We're 12 games into this season. I only did 12 games last year. Our defensive rating last year was 109.7 through 12 games, 109.7. This year, our defensive rating through 12 games is 110.3. All right, this is just through 12 games. I guess we'll do this again at maybe 20 games, 30 games, and keep the comparison going. Opponents' points last year through 12 games, 106.3. This year, opponents' points through 12 games are 109.6. Last season, opponents' field goal percentage through 12 games, 45%. This year, opponents' field goal percentage through 12 games, 43.4%. Now, here's where the difference really comes in. Last year, opponents' three-point shooting through 12 games, 32.7%. And this year, opponents' three-point shooting through 12 games, 37.6%. Right? That's probably the big difference between last year's defense and this year's defense. Opponents' assists per game last year, 23.1. This year, opponents' assists, 25.7. I think that probably relates directly to the three-point shooting. Offensive rebounds for opponents last year, 10.3. Offensive rebounds for the opponents this year, 10.8. Opponents' second chance points last year was 12 points per game through the first 12 games. And this year, opponents' second chance points through the first 12 games are 12 points per game. I mean, I think you can really boil it down to the three-point shooting. But Steph, any thoughts about these numbers?
Yeah, I mean, this has come up a lot, Sam, like the stats versus the eye test. And I think statistically, you're right. It's not much difference through the first 12 games. And I think in our mind, at least in my mind, when I think about last season, I'm really thinking about when Rose came. I don't even remember before, prior to Rose. I don't even remember.
Okay.
Right?
That's fair.
So you're right. Before the first 12 games, Rose wasn't here. This team did have problems, you know? So yeah, I mean,
That's
comparing it to pre Rose, yeah, you're right. It is pretty similar. It's just that on this team, we have Rose.
Right.
And it's still a mess, and probably because of the two additions. And I think part of it is team not gelling as well. But this is really interesting, really.
Yeah. And you know, I didn't even think about that, you know, pre-Rose and post-Rose. You know, and maybe next time we could look at the first 12 games after Rose got here, or maybe you got to look at the the next 12 games or something like that.
Right.
Because there was a lot of flux and change last year, but this year it's not as much. You got two new players on the team, Kemba and Evan Fournier, but throughout the season, at least right now, there's not as much flux because, you know, they're just getting started. But these are the numbers defensively from last year.
Right.
Andy, any thoughts about that?
Yes, I think, you know, I was thinking before the show, and even after the Cavs game, I think that there should be a hashtag like MSG Magic, because, you know, some guys just come to MSG and they have live career games, like live games. I don't think Ricky Rubio scored over 30 points in Europe when he was playing here. Listen, he lit us up for 7 threes. The same with, you know, Pat Connaughton yesterday, Grayson Allen, guys like that having career games in such a small sample size might have skewed those 3-point numbers. Listen, after 20 games, maybe 30 games, I think those numbers, you know, are, you know, like they called it the Murphy's Law. They're just not going to be able to stick at 37. That's way above league's average, I believe. So.
Right.
And it's not only because we leave them in open shots, but I think, you know, even if they were open, they shouldn't be falling in that kind of a clip.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, Sim. But, you know, for me, the second and most interesting stat about this is, listen, last season we were 5-7. This year we were 7-5. So
yeah,
right.
That's the thing that puts us, you know, higher in the standings. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we're still 7th, so you know.
I'm not.
Yeah, but we were
at
at 10 probably last year. So
I'm not happy with it. I think we should be 9-3. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? When I look at this, right, it doesn't mean a lot to me because look at the manner in which we lose some of these games.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Look at how we lost the Orlando game. Game 2 against Orlando in MSG. Right, might be MSG Magic right there, right? We beat the Bucks the first time. The second time they came to MSG, and they beat us. They've been looking real beatable, right? And what bothers me is the fact that we made these offseason moves, and it seems like the defensive emphasis that we had going for us, that Tibbs had going for us, kind of got diminished, right? To the extent to which I don't even want Kemba and Fournier on the court at the same time no more. Right? We're gonna have to find something to do with one of them guys, and keep that leash real short if it's not working out. Because if we can't even stop certain guys, and then a lot of the pressure falls on our 3, 4, and 5, then we're gonna be hurting when it comes time to switch over and play a different rotation and give guys some rest. Because Tibbs, once he pulls somebody from messing up, he doesn't like to put them back in.
Right.
Which is why I'm kind of looking at the comments about Grimes and McBride in a different light now. Because what he said is true. You get 10 games in, you say you need 20, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. Let me get to a phone call really quick.
Wait, how you gonna skip me?
Because you've been like talking like
normally.
all the way through. You pop in and say this, you pop in and say that. Let me get to a phone call. I'll come back to you. Let me get to a phone call. Calling you live, man. What's popping?
Rodney Dangerfield.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Gilliam. I really love the show, MBK, man. Steph, Andy, Isaiah, Savvy, Sim, you guys have been doing a great job. And I just want to talk. This is
Gmo, folks. Don't let this guy play no games on you. This is Gmo.
Gilmo put his best Connecticut voice on me.
What's going on, man?
I forgot that my stupid phone shows up in your phone.
Right.
The joke's on you.
I just want to say, man, look, I think the Kemba experiment might be done. I think the point guard who's going to be starting soon is IQ, man. I think, look, is about done with Kemba. But the real thing I want to say before you expose me, man, Sim. So I just want to bring this up, man. Ricky Rubio.
Didn't I tell you, Steph, that he was gonna say that? Ricky Rubio has one game. He has the game of his career against the Knicks, who have the worst perimeter defense in the league, and now he wants Ricky Rubio as a star.
I didn't say all that, Tim. I just all right. I can't talk about that. But, one more thing before I leave, man. I just want to know. Is Julius Randle still an elite ISO scorer in this league, sir? I just want to get
Yes.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Get him, Guillermo.
Yes, he is.
Look, I'm here to support the show. I'm going to give you guys a nice little like.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. You need teammates to knock down their shots to spread open that floor. When you don't got teammates knocking down their shots, it's going to be tough on any player. Giannis scored 15 points last night.
Wait. So what's going to be an elite? So what's the definition of elite ISO scorer then?
Giannis Antetokounmpo, who scored 15 points last night.
Hold on. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. So how you can't be an elite ISO scorer then say you need to trust your team. You need to trust your teammates because that's not what an ISO scorer is.
No, you need to trust your teammates so that you can ISO. If your teammates ain't knocking down shots, you can't ISO. Because now you got defenders hanging inside playing a zone against you.
But elite also means you can shoot because KD put up what? Okay. He put up something stupid the other night.
You always bring up KD. Dude, there's only one KD. He may be the best scorer in the history of the league.
Yes, that's elite. KD
that's more than elite. That's godly.
Oh, now we have to.
Let me get.
I don't think he's been ISOing a lot. Too, in my opinion, I think he's been passing too much.
He's been passing. He hasn't been ISOing a lot. He's been passing. He's been trying to get Kemba and Evan Fournier in the groove.
Oh,
because they obviously need to be in the groove.
All right. So I'm just checking out.
Sim, you can tell Gilbert want to go bad so long, yo.
He'll be back on the show. He'll be back on
another phone, man. I messed up. I forgot some guy. I'm gonna call another phone.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Oh man.
Peace. Before I get to another call, I want to take a look at the offensive stats. All right. When you look at the offensive stats through the first 5 games last year, now this really does this really, Steph brought up, this, before Derrick Rose. And yeah, you really know that this is before Derrick Rose, all right? Last year, the offensive rating through 12 games was 104.5. This year, it's 111.1, right? I don't know what it was. I'd have to go back. We'd have to go back and look at what it was when the Knicks got Derrick Rose last year, right? Points per game. Through the first 5-7 games, 100.8 points per game through the first 5 games. 100.8. This year, 110.8. Last year, they shot 44.6% from the field through the first 12 games. This year, it's 45.2. Last year, they shot 35.1% from the three-point line through the first 12 games. This year, it's 37.1. Last year, they averaged 22.3 assists. This year, they're averaging 22.3 assists. Last year they averaged 22.2 assists through the first 12 games. This year they're averaging 22.3 assists through the first 12 games. That says a lot to me because they're shooting higher percentages. So you would think that the assist numbers should be going up. Offensive rebounds, last year they averaged 10.8. This season they averaged 10.6. Second chance points, last year they averaged 12.6. This year is 14.2. Now, here's a big story. Last year, fast break points through the first 12 games, they averaged 6.3 fast break points per game. This year, they averaged 12.9 fast break points per game through the first 12 games. So, two big things that I pull out of there are the assist numbers, because they're, for the most part, equal. But we shoot better percentages this year. That tells me last year the ball was getting around more. To be honest with you, right? The ball was getting around more, maybe being sprayed out more. They were finding ways to find each other better. Maybe the chemistry was just a little bit better at this point. This year, we're shooting significantly better through the first 12 games, but the assist numbers are exactly the same. Then, of course, the fast break points. We were terrible in the fast break last year. And, this season, we're at least decent in the fast break area. Big Bubba, since you had a lot to say, I'll let you go ahead and jump this off.
Oh wow, Sim, you're growing as a man. I'm so proud of you. First things first, before we get that started, Sim, I just want to say we have 270 people here, and we only have less than 100 likes. Come on, people, get them likes up. We got DeMar DeRozan, we got Andy, we got Steph. Come on, let's get them likes up. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Savvy didn't get it.
No, the Savvy. You know what I'm saying? Nah, yo, he still don't get it.
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
He called you DeMar DeRozan. Called you DeMar DeRozan. That's but go ahead.
Ben had the Rose. Suddenly you got jokes.
Give us some thoughts, man. Give us some thoughts.
Yeah. So the thing that stuck out to me was what you said is the assist, right? And to me, it's just been, I don't know what it is, Sim. For a very long time, I just never understood why just universally the Knicks just can't pass the ball, or sometimes they always go for the good shots. Sometimes they don't go for the great shots, and they don't move the ball. There's been too many times already this season that I've seen where just we move the ball, we don't move. We this team to me could easily get easy baskets if we move the ball. And I think that's why a lot of people this season see the impact Obi has, because when I watch Obi play, he moves. Mm-hmm. When I see a lot with the starting units that we don't move. We just pass and chuck up a three. We don't move around. We don't got guys cutting. RJ's a great cutter. RJ should be getting way more easier baskets to the rim. Even though he's doing a lot better at the rim this year for his standards, he should be getting a lot more easy buckets. These guys just don't move. And to me, that's why the assists have been the same so far that I can think of so many years of just having 22 assists. We know can't even, to me, break 25 or 30 assists would be is a rare game for us because we just don't move the ball. And again, that also has to play into, the point guard situation, which we have been plagued with since I don't know how long, since I was a kid, honestly. This is the point guard situation for the Knicks. And it's just, again, I was really hoping and I was really thinking that Kemba's offense was going to break it down to where his scoring was going to open up the offense so that we can move, him penetrating in the paint and having the ability to do the pick and roll and all that can get the easier baskets. But right now, he's just very terrible right now. There's no two ifs and buts about it. He's been playing terrible. So yeah, we just again that's to me that stuck out the most. I'm not gonna keep rambling because I'll just repeat the thing again.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Savvy.
Look at that.
Yeah, talk about growth. Savvy, any thoughts about the offensive numbers that you see here between last year and this year through the first 12 games?
Well, yes, absolutely. First of all, my man Obi Toppin is a menace out there in transition. I want to get that one right out the way quick. All right. I'm not gonna mention too much about the Derrick Rose impact because we didn't have him until midway. I want to say that seemed like we got to the line better. I think a lot of teams are struggling with that right now, and the offense is better overall, but I don't think the gain is worth what we sacrificed in that sense. I think what we have now is a situation where we can depend on Julius Randle to hit some shots from three. We can depend on RJ to hit from three more often, to the point where Reggie Bullock's 3-point shots that we're missing now are kind of being supplemented in that sort of way. But you also have teams that have made their own moves and have seen what we did and are not taking us for granted. And I think what we're doing now that we're doing kind of well is we're figuring out how to switch up on teams midway through the game and keep our offense fresh so that we can keep on scoring and keep on doing what we do well. Because it seemed like, at least through the first 12 games last season, when a team had us figured out, they just had us figured out. You feel me? Like, we couldn't battle back as well as we can now. Especially not with the starters. Like, now, our starters can fight back and get us back in the games. And our bench certainly can. That was an incredible example just last night. But I feel like what we have more on our side now is versatility. And that might have come at the expense of some defensive fortification. But I think if we can figure it out and learn how to get individual players out of slumps, then we'll be doing a lot better because we figured out how to get the team out of the slump.
Okay. All right. Steph, any thoughts on these numbers here?
Yeah, the offensive rating is better. The points per game is better, and that's what we wanted, and that's what we needed compared to last year's team. So you could check the box in that regard. It came at the expense of some much-needed defense. I don't think the coaching staff, I know the fans, I didn't think the drop-off would be that big defensively, but it has been. I think the fast break points, I think that's probably the second unit, if you ask me. I think that first unit doesn't seem to be playing with a lot of pace. What I do like about the offense is moving. I mean, I do think there are times when someone has the ball, like there are not a lot of cuts on the weak side and what have you, but the ball is moving and we're getting really good shots. We're just missing them. We're just missing them. So, I think that would help our assists. It's hard to get an assist if people are missing shots.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Yeah. So I think that once Fournier starts shooting better, once Kemba starts shooting better, I think the assists will come up and will increase because we are getting good shots, at least through the first 12 games.
Okay. Andy?
Yeah, the stat that stands out for me the most is looking at the percentage-wise at a three-point shot. It's only 2% difference, but that 2% makes you go from average league to one of the top leagues, in ranks. That's why also the points went up by 10, if almost by exactly 10, points, but it also has to do that we are taking way more three-pointers.
Exactly.
At least this point stat, right? Because we in preseason if those stats would count, we would have already broken the Knicks franchise record.
Right.
So, this is literally, the Knicks turning the offense way different from last season, probably because of the personnel. But, I also would consider thinking about if really Tibbs is the architect of the offense currently. I think Johnny Bryan might have been, having like pretty much, input on that offense that we are currently playing. I think, Tibbs is such a stubborn guy that, even though he has new guys on the roster, he still might have been running, the offense through Julius mostly. Now we see, we got Kemba as the ball handler, and the offense, at least at the beginning of the shot clock, looks totally different than last year. So I really think Johnny Bryan might have been, putting his fingers on this imprint on this offense.
Yeah. I kind of agree, and which is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I think that's okay. That's okay to do. And if Tibbs is willing to allow somebody else, gifting the power to somebody else, that shows some signs of growth in Tom Thibodeau and what he's willing to do, which, you've got to do when you're a coach. Sometimes you got to be able to have assistants that can fill in where maybe you're not strong.
Yeah. That he can trust and rely on, right? Because it's Tibbs' name on the line,
right.
At the end of the day.
Exactly. And by the way, the Knicks are shooting 38 threes per game so far this season. I think it's like 8th or 9th in the NBA. As opposed to last year, they were, 31, 32 or even lower. And they're still hitting them at 37%. Normally if your attempts go up, it seems that your percentages might go down. The Knicks' attempts have gone up, but their percentages have stayed the same. So, it makes a lot of sense that, their points per game has gone up as much as it did. Now, when you look at the net rating through the first 12 games of both seasons, in 2020, 2021, the Knicks' offensive, and I have these backwards, so excuse me. I have these backwards. Really, in 2020, 2021, the Knicks' offensive rating was 104.5, and their defensive rating was 109.7 for a negative 5.2. And this year, the offensive rating is 111.1, and the defensive rating is 110.3 for a net positive rating of 0.08.
Wow.
Right? And I'm going to fix that and get it back up on the screen. But looking at those numbers, Steph, and I'm going to come around to everybody, last year we said we'd give up a little bit of defense to get better on offense. And what matters is our net rating. As long as we end up with a net positive, we're okay. Well, I mean, we're barely in a net positive. But we're in a net positive and we're 7-5. So, when you look at the numbers, is this what you were saying? Or do you expect a little bit better?
I was expecting a bit better. Remember in the beginning of the season, we were like 0.09 and every game was a nail biter because, we just couldn't score and we would win by like 1 or 2 points. I mean, I know this is on average, but I was definitely expecting a better net rating. I think in the beginning of the season, it was like 6 or something like that, which is great. But 0.08, and these games are not close, right? So it's just some games, our offense does better than other games, which brings us to the 0.08. So I'm not happy about it. I don't think it's sustainable. In the sense of us having a good season with a 0.08 net differential.
Yeah, and I got it fixed up there on the board. So those watching.
Where is that in the league? Do you know? 0.08?
You know what? I'm not sure. I'd have to check that out, see where that is in the league. Yeah. Andy, and let me repeat this really quick, Andy, just so for anyone who joined us new. When we're looking at the Knicks net rating through the first 12 games of last year and this season, their offensive rating last year was 104.5. Their defensive rating was 109.77, a net rating of a negative 5.2. This season, the Knicks' offensive rating is 111.1, and their defensive rating is 110.3, with a positive net rating of 0.08. All right, and we talked, and what I just asked Steph is, we talked about, hey, we're willing to give up a little bit of defense to be better on offense. It's, we're just asking, is this what we meant, or did we expect the Knicks defense to at least be better this year? Not better than last year, but better than they are so far last year. And these are numbers through the first 12 games. Andy, I'm gonna come around quick because I gotta run and get to practice.
So just to compare year to year, it's still like 6-point difference, right? So I think it's better, but I think thanks to Kemba, and I know this might sound bad, but thanks to Kemba, the whole offense looks way different. I still think the opposite defenses need to have an eye on Kemba, even though he's not scoring much points and stuff like that. I still think they have to respect him. If this is gonna last till like half season, I think the other half season is going to be totally different for the opposite defenses. But still, at this point, they fear that he can get couple of buckets in a row, which can lose him the game. So I think they have to respect him way more than Elfrid Payton. And the defense, the Elfrid is it's day and night between him and Kemba, right? But I still think the free flow of the offense is way more variable for the Knicks currently than the defense. Then again, the defense can be more, you can rely on the defense more than on the offense, because we have open shots but we're not making them. If you play good defense, you can play good defense no matter if you're hot or not. You just did, so it's like that.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely agree with you, Isaiah.
Yeah. Before reading that, you would think the defense was just horrible. Like, you think it would be night and day with our defense from last year, and on paper necessarily no, but I think for the most part that when we thought about like less defense, I think a lot of people thought our offense would be just like maybe 112 points a game, 113 points a game, around there. And, we might give up, instead of giving up 102 a game, we give up 108 or something like that, But it's like, it's tough. It really is tough because, again, I really do think losing Reggie Bullock was a very big, this RJ being the only wing defender really on the team now it's tough. It's tough. And again, I love the kid because his head and his heart is in the right place, wanting to be on the first team all defense and become a better defender, which I know for a fact he can. And I do believe that, throughout the season, I will believe he will get at least a second team, defense this year. But just losing Reggie Bullock, man, just really killed, because again, you just don't have another guy on the team where you could be like, well, you do, but I won't go on that rant. But you just it's tough right now in the beginning of the season.
Yeah. You notice he focused everything on Reggie Bullock, right, Andy? Savvy.
The other guy wasn't a factor.
We know.
They're playing the same amount of minutes though.
Yep.
I think
that's true.
Through 12 games, I think we should be actually kind of optimistic. I definitely have my reservations with our new point guard approach, and I think that within 12 games to be a net positive, even though it's by the skin of our teeth, I think that's encouraging. I don't take last night as prologue to what's to come. I think we'll sort of normalize to a better standard with our starting five. It kind of hurts me when both of them 1 and 2 are not clicking and we have to like scramble to figure something out. But I have faith in us to do so. When I look at the defensive rating and how close it is, I think that we would probably given up more inside last season and then defending the perimeter better, and now it's the exact opposite. It seemed like we're just completely pancake flipped over, and that might be the sacrifice that we have to make. But it's a 3-point shooting league, right? And no lead is safe with a 3-point falling for the other team. And we need to be better at home. I think on the road we're them guys on the road.
So far
Through 12 games. At home, we're MC food. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to figure out something to do with that. And I think that we should just throw away that net rating of 5.2 through 12 games last year because we didn't have D-Rose back.
And just to add on to that real quick, Savvy, I will say this too, because right now, pretty much, and I would just say, speak for the Eastern Conference, everybody's bushed up. Like literally, I think we're all literally like a game apart, like maybe a game and a half. Yeah, it is. I haven't actually, on a side note, I was actually talking to somebody in the gym. Yeah, I go to the gym, guys. And it was like,
you was working the smoothie bar.
Talk with.
Hey, first of all, yeah. No, but I was actually talking to him, and he's a little older guy. He was like, man, I haven't seen the East like this since the '90s of how competitive it is for all the teams. But I'm saying this to say this, that right now, yes, we are doing good on the road, but we all know there's going to be that part in the season where teams are going to start breaking apart. Besides the Warriors that are already broken apart, there will be teams that's going to break apart. And I just want the Knicks to be on that right side of the breaking apart, because after a while, we're not going to keep running. I mean, we could be possibly winning these games on the road, but soon these teams are going to start winning at home. They're going to start defending home court. So we got to get prepared for that. And we also got to defend our home court, because right now we're 2-4 at home. I'm actually more happy when we're on the road right now. So we gotta withstand that part, because there will be a part in that season, maybe around the All-Star break or a post All-Star break, that teams are going to start separating themselves, and we're going to see the elite teams and the playing teams. We're going to start seeing that, and the Knicks got to be on that right side.
Yeah.
I was talking smack.
And Isaiah, somebody's breaking into your store, so you better go ahead and take care of that.
Andy,
Oven. That's the oven.
Listen, first of all, Andy, Sim oven wasn't like Andy. He had a high nice oven, man. That oven, man, it's a good oven, man. Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
And just for the record, last year the Knicks ended the season with a 110.2 offensive rating and a 107.8 defensive rating for a net positive of 2.4. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say this. I was talking smack after we beat Boston. I was talking smack after we beat Chicago. Those wins felt good. But guess what? I've been watching them boys lately. They ain't nothing to play with. I'm waiting to play against Boston in the TD Garden and see what really happens.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting to see what really happens against Chicago. But one thing I'm looking forward to, I want to see the Pacers again, and I want to see the Nets. Okay? Those are the only teams that I want to see not named Atlanta.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Let me get to a couple of phone calls before I get out of here. We'll make it quick, and then I gotta run. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name, where you're from. Please turn that down in the back if you can. Hello.
Ali from Buffalo.
Hey, what's going on, Ali? Can you turn that down in the back, because it's coming through. There you go. What's going on, man? I got just a couple minutes before I gotta rock up out of here.
All right, what's going on, man? I appreciate you for taking my call. Salute to everybody in the chat panel. I appreciate you, first time caller
Appreciate
to
you,
any
man.
kind of show. But me personally, man, I want to start talking about why Julius Randle cannot play the 3. I feel like if we can get Julius Randle to the 3, Obi Toppin to the 4, and Mitch Robinson at the 5, that allows us to do some things at the 1 and the 2. I feel like before we got Kemba on, like a $3 discount, we was able to go ahead and I think IQ was going to be our starting point guard. I like his activity on defense. I would say throw RJ at the 2, let them 3 hold out the back. Now we got more of a defensive team. I think that creates a lot of mismatches on offense, and I don't see why Julius Randle cannot play the 3. I don't look across the league and see a lot of fast threes. I look at him being more of a problem for that position than that position being a problem for him.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think he can defend the 3? So is he defending like the Paul Georges and those guys?
When you look at it in the East, I look at it as being a lot simpler. When you move out towards the West, there's a couple of more issues, but I think at that point we could kind of adjust the lineup. I think, for every team that there is, like even if it was the Clippers, okay, maybe he don't check Paul George, he would check Batum, or if Kawhi come back, maybe see what he could do on like a slower wing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I would like to see it, and if his one-on-one defense is as good as we like to project it out to be, why not see what he got?
We'll see. I mean, you know what? I think at some point Tom Thibodeau is going to try to make some adjustments to the starting unit if it doesn't come around in the next 10 games or so.
All right.
We'll see if that's something he thinks about. Hey, Ali, I appreciate your time. Appreciate your call. Sorry I couldn't have a longer conversation with you, but I do got to run and get to practice.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all, man. Enjoy the show every time, man. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Get to another call here. Caller, you live. Tell me your name and where you're from.
Hey, how's everybody doing? It's nice. Salute to everybody in the panel and salute to everybody in the chat.
Appreciate you, man.
What you want me to say? Pretty much anything?
Anything that's on your mind, man.
And I used to be so critical with RJ, but we have seen RJ playing with the bench, man, and there's something with RJ with the bench, It's like, it got me thinking. There's certain players that have it, depending on the playing style that pretty much the starters has in the bench. And RJ is the type of player that has to play with a fast-paced player. So with me, by saying that, it got me thinking about also Kemba and Fournier. Maybe the reason they ain't shining too much is because there's too many ISO game style playing with those starters. Like, I want to see Kemba and even Fournier with the bench, but just with one or two, just one player being changed. Not everybody from the bench, just one player, because the bench has it. The only problem right now that we have is those starters, and they have tried Randle with the bench, and that's detrimental. For some reason, I can't stand seeing Randle with our bench, because every single time the bench is on the move, the last player coming from behind is always Randle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. The bench plays a little bit faster, and I don't know if Randle is. He has the ability to be suited for that style of play. He's got speed. When he decides to get up and down the floor, no one's getting in front of him. But for the most part, he's a half-court type of player. So I agree. I don't think that he mixes well with some of those bench players. I agree with you. That's why I like seeing RJ in there, because I think he does mix well with those bench players and, getting up and down the floor, those type of things. Yeah.
There was even one game that we even had Randall sit throughout the whole game due to the reason there was personal issues or something. He was expecting a baby or something like that.
Yeah,
but
right.
Man, the whole team looked nice on that night that he wasn't playing. And it's like we gotta hold everybody accountable. You are our number one player in the team. You got to show us that you're number one for a reason. You got to show us that you're number one and being paid the most in the team for a reason. Like, I understand if you're having a 1 bad game, 2 bad games, but this cannot keep on going, man. Like, I can't stand it. And I've been vouching for Randall last season. Crazy. I don't know if last season Randall had a chip on his shoulder, but man, we need that old top of Randall from last season. We don't need this Randall, because the Randall that we seeing right now, believe it or not, this is the 2 season back prior Randall. This is not last season Randall.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see if he becomes last season's Randall as time goes on, because I don't remember what he was doing the first 12 games of last season. So, let's see what happens as time goes on. It's going to be interesting. Hey, we're 7-5 this year. We were 5-7 last year. At the same point, let's see if the Knicks continued to get better throughout the season. Mm-hmm. Let's hope that they continue to get better throughout this season too. Hey, my man, I appreciate your time. Appreciate your call.
Salute to everybody. Have a good one, guys.
Man. Yeah, we will see, man. I do want to take a look at some of these numbers and start to break them down. What Derrick Rose last year, Derrick Rose this year. It's obviously hard to say because, the teams are very much different, between last year and this year. But, I mean, that's all we can really do is compare it to both of them. I'll get to one more phone call, then I'm going to get out of here. All right, we'll get some last words.
You say that every time, and you go for another 15 minutes.
Caller, you live. What's popping with you, man?
Yo, Sim, what's popping?
Julito, what's going on with you, brother? How you feeling?
I'm excellent.
Carlito!
Zay, what up?
What's up, baby?
Queen, I think Salvi. What's up to y'all? I can't see everybody. I didn't even listen to the show yet. I'm going to run it back, of course. But I had to call in, man, because I've been having this in my heart, and I'm like, what better place to go share my thoughts than with the home team? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You already know.
Come on. So, all right. First, I'm gonna be serious, and then I'm gonna go light with it. Seriously, for folks who keep wanting IQ to start, I get it. I'm with you. I share the same sentiments, but I understand people and their tendencies. If we're talking about our coach, Tom Thibodeau, Kemba Walker will start until he either hurts his knee, he has to sit out, or whatever may come with that. He's our starting point guard, right? He's the guy. Tibbs, as we know it, he appreciates vets. He honors vets, which is a great quality to have as a coach. But at the same time, I'm sure y'all said it in this hour, Kemba just can't do it for us. But if we got Tom Thibodeau as a coach, he will start him. And we just got to pray and hope that shot going to land, because he has no acceleration anymore. He has no lateral movement in his knee. His knees are done. So I just pray he can hit that shot, because that's all he got for us. Yeah. Derrick Rose is a saint. I say it every game. Taj Gibson is a saint. But, it's kind of, it lets me down a little when that's the only productivity we truly have on the energy side as a team. Our 2 oldest players have the most energy, and it's kind of disheartening because we got some young guys who we need them to step up, right? We need energy, and that goes for everybody from Julius to RJ, right? It's about energy, and I love RJ Barrett. I think he's playing amazing for us. At the same time, we need to not let these losses get in our head, and we need. It's about attitude with Julius Randle, right? With Julius Randle, when he's in a good spirit, when he's laughing, when he's having a good time, we win. That's just, if you look at every game we won thus far, Julius Randle's in a good mood. If we start the game and Julius Randle is in that mindset of, I have to prove it tonight I have to go hard, tunnel vision, we lose. He's not mentally able to keep us going when he's in a bad mood or a prove it mood, right? So that's that, and I think we're gonna do better. I just, for those calling for Deuce, he's not gonna play, y'all. He's not going to play. That's just unless Kemba. It's funny. I went to the last game against the Cavs, and there was no Kemba. So, I expected Deuce, just like some of us. And I said to Deuce, because we got, he came near me. I said, Deuce, when you get a shot tonight, turn up. And he looked at me and he said, I got you. And then he didn't play 1 minute with no Kemba Walker starting. He didn't play 1 minute. So if he didn't play 1 minute without Kemba starting, do you think Tibbs is going to put that guy in? He's not. So that's the serious point. I think we're going to do better. Let's get it. As far as the lighthearted part, have y'all noticed anytime stuff in your life is going wrong, or you're watching the game with people who are either not Knicks fans or they just always go at you because you a Knicks fan, we always lose. I'm watching the game with my boy yesterday, Sim, and he like, oh, you still root for this team? Every time the Bucks make a shot, I wanted to choke him, Sim. I'm like, shut up.
I know you did.
I wanted to choke him. I'm like, I feel like as a Knicks fan, our energy got to be right when we watching the game together, y'all. We got to stay away from the haters in our lives. Yesterday I was like, this is why I watch the Knicks by myself in my crib.
Exactly.
Y'all,
exactly.
I don't go to bars because there's always going to be that one drunk guy in the bar. Oh, the Knicks are going to lose. Shut up.
Right.
Also, lastly, we had Chris Rock at the game. I think, I can't take away his Knicks card, but he never sat right with me when he was at that Miami Nets game. Because I don't know who he was rooting for. You know what I mean?
Right.
He never sat right with me.
Halito, man.
Yo.
You gotta let people know, man. At the end of the day, you know they'll be in buildings better than most people, man. So you know what to do. you know what to do when somebody makes you mad, man. You know.
Hey Zay, that's another conversation for another day. My last part, because I know you gotta get out of here, Sam. I do want to say that another person who put some bad juju on us last night. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Nick Wright from FS1 was at the game. And the moment I saw that Nick Wright was at the game, I started losing. Yo, Sam, have a good one, my brother.
Julito, I appreciate you, bro.
Shout out to the comments. I see y'all soon. I'm not even going to say it, Sam. When you announce it, you announce it. I'm not sure if you said it on this show, but I hope to see you soon. That's what I would say.
All right, no doubt. Appreciate it.
There we go.
All right. Appreciate you, Julito, man. Peace. All right. We're going to get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Some last words. I'll go around. I'll start with you, Steph, and with Savvy.
You know what? I don't think the solution is on this team. I think we're going to gelling and we'll get it a little better. But I think the solution is a trade, unfortunately.
Yeah, me too. Andy?
Sim, the Knicks are going to be fine. But you, bro, you better run. You better run for that practice.
I know, man. I know. No. We're starting at 3:45. So I got a couple minutes. Starting at 3:45. I told him.
That's 17 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I'm like 10 minutes away from where we practice. I told him 3:45. If you're not on the line at 3:45, everybody has 2 up backs for every minute that they're late. So I better make sure I'm on time. Isaiah?
Okay.
I'm gonna make it quick for you, brother, because I know you got. I had to disagree with Steph. Sorry, Queen. The solution is on this team. The solution is the 2 young gunners that play defense. The solution is the 6'2" point guard with a great wingspan and a 6'6" kid that can shoot and is a 3-and-D player. Listen, I'm gonna say it. If you play McBride, it's gonna be rough in the beginning. I won't lie to you. It will be rough in the beginning, but it will help this team defense a lot.
You can't have a playoff team with a rookie point guard, in my opinion.
Yeah,
wait, Steph, I didn't say start him. I didn't say start him.
Oh, give him minutes. Yeah, okay.
Minutes.
Give him minutes, but I think we need more than that.
But I say if you give McBride and Grimes some real minutes and show that they can cover and you have to play them with RJ and Julius Randle. That's one of the key things. Play them with RJ and Julius. You're gonna see this team defense.
Team? They're not gonna play with the first team.
Listen, if you do this, you will see switchability, and you will see us cover the 3 a lot better than what you've been seeing.
Okay, all right. Savvy.
I think the answer lies somewhere in between. We might have to move somebody and play somebody. Okay, somebody might need to go, and somebody else might need some minutes. I don't think we should take what happened last night as too telling of the future. I think them boys just got a little bit too turned up after Duke versus Kentucky, okay? And they just wasn't quite ready to bring it like they should have. Salute Knicks family. NYK all day, NBK all day. Let's get it.
Yeah, no doubt. And who knows? They might just go get Elf strictly for Isaiah. You know, we out of here.
You would love that. That's what you would love.
NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.